I am Tom Gillespie. I've had my lawn business for 15 years.
Tom is, he's a wonderful husband. He's a wonderful father.
I love being a father and a husband, spending time with my kids, teaching my kids something new that they didn't know before.
He's very hardworking. He's very dedicated to his job with the lawn business and to the fire department.
I started this business right before I was accepted into the Tulsa Fire Academy. I started out with working with my uncle in 2000 and 2001. So I basically worked this job as a part-time job from the days off from my fire station. And my brother Nick also came on from the fire department after college, and we joined business together in 2004, 2005. The most challenging aspect of it is probably trying to manage your family and personal time with the business, and then focusing your time and being a good firefighter at the station as well.
Complete Lawn Care has been a great company that he's built, especially knowing from where it came from and what it is today.
I enjoy the seeing and hearing from our clients of how we were able to eliminate the need and free up their time on the weekends, transform a yard into something that was an eyesore for them, and now there's something to be proud about.
Early on, it was just kind of an extra source of income. It was just something that he did on his off days with the fire department. So I really didn't see that it had so much potential to grow into something so much bigger than it was.
We knew we had some broken systems and processes in place. We knew our debt amount was too high for the size of the company we are operating, but we didn't really understand why or what to do to fix it. We were increasing sales every year by anywhere from 15% and some years by 50%, so we thought the problem was just to keep growing the company, and more sales was going to fix all our problems. It wasn't until right after the Service Autopilot conference that we realized what kind of situation we were in. There were several probably moments like that I realized we were in trouble. My stubbornness kept me from really acknowledging them.
I was really shocked. I was surprised. And then I think there was a sense of, I was really sad. I was sad for Tom, just because I know how hard he works.
After the November 2014 Service Autopilot conference, I left there with over 120 ideas I had written down on systems and processes I wanted to implement and change in our business. And I really didn't know what to do with all those. I knew we needed to change a bunch of things, but I really didn't know what to do next. I had a lot of ideas up in my head, but didn't know where to begin. I started looking through our financials a little bit further, and one big red flag that came up is our landscape division had lost over $100,000 in a little over 14 or 15 months. We eliminated the entire landscape install division, which not only cost us that revenue, but I realized we weren't making money profitably in that side of the business, and we needed to do something drastic. Was I afraid? Yeah, hell yes, I was afraid. I had borrowed a bunch of money from close family members. I had developed a close relationship with certain bankers across town that I've done business with for over 10 years, and I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want to let my family down, my credit down, and the pressures of all that, including all the people we employed. They counted on us to support their families, and the pressures, I felt like the walls were kind of closing in.
It did affect our marriage a little bit. Tom was kind of distant, kind of disconnected. It was a hard time, for sure.
Starting at the top, we had me and my brother were 50% owners. We had no accountability between us. We had no written agreement on business of what it was expected between each of us. We each had our own credit cards and lines of credit out at different places. We weren't communicating on who was buying what equipment. We weren't tracking our labor cost on a regular basis. We didn't have financial reports that we could look at on a weekly or monthly basis. The only real financial documents we saw was when our accountant sent us our quarterly or end of year statements, which I didn't really understand, so I didn't spend more than 2 or 3 minutes glancing over the numbers. I basically operated the business from looking at our checking account, and if there was money in the checking account, I thought we were doing okay. It put a lot of strain, obviously, with the financials, especially starting with my partners and my brother. There was a lot of blame to go around of who caused what, or who spent too much money, or who wasn't doing their part in the business. Usually at the time there wasn't much good to talk about the business, so it created a lot of conflict in our relationship together. And then when our families got together, there was a strain. There was a lot of resentment going on between the two families. When we joined Service Autopilot Academy, we started looking at each aspect of our business. I joined the Academy group and quickly became linked to 80 to 100 other business owners that I had immediate access to for help and guidance. It basically exposed all the problems that we were bleeding out, and it was kind of like taking Band-Aid off after Band-Aid off and exposing, we had major arterial, arteries bleeding in our company. After taking the blinders off and getting real with what our problems were and stop trying to blame other people for what I had or someone else had gotten ourselves into, we really started to focus on, okay, what do we do here? What can we do to fix it? And I realized I knew very little of how to run a business our size. During the academy, talking to their members and going through the training sessions, I quickly learned new techniques and new ways to be able to run our business, what our business needed to look like at the level we were at, what people I needed to have in place to help do that. Having access to the academy, as we implemented these new policies and procedures and we ran into roadblocks, we had people we can call on immediately and say, okay, I've done this and this, but I need help with going to the final step, or this isn't working for me in my business, but it worked for you. What did you do differently? So instead of spending days, weeks, or months trying to figure it out on our own, we had access to other business owners that were willing to share their information with us. Training was pretty intense. It was monthly sessions. Some lasted 2 hours. The longest one lasted 6 hours. There was a lot of accountability to it, homework assignments. It was like going back to school. We started with tracking all our costs per division and breaking down each day the crews and tracking their revenue and what they're bringing in per day, per hour, per week, per month.
He had me get inventory done on everything in the shop, every piece of equipment, every truck, every backpack sprayer. He'd had them make up a little form that the guys have to pull up every morning on their phones, and it's, here's everything you should have on your truck, here's the serial number, do you have this? If you don't have this, you have to let one of us know, because it means you have something off someone else's truck. So we put that in place.
As that started to level out, and within a few weeks we started to see positive changes in less complaints, less invoicing complaints, less scheduling complaints, and things like that. And then we were actually able to be steady enough to implement new processes to promote even better growth and efficiency changes for the company as a whole.
We're tracking every lead, so now I know where we're getting our leads from, our cost per lead, how much it costs us to attract every new lead, how much it costs per new client acquisition. One of the things that I quickly learned as I implemented some of these systems, it freed up some more of my time. So I was able to spend more time with my family at the same time growing the business and making the business operate more efficiently. A consultant came into town. We hired him from the Kansas City area. He came into town and quickly looked through all our numbers and made some very strong suggestions for us. And my brother decided at that time that he wanted to exit the company, and he helped us navigate through the very difficult waters of structuring a deal that was fair to both of us, and it still allowed our company to have a chance of success. Our business model has changed in many ways. I know what we need to charge per hour. I know what our labor cost needs to be. I know what our overhead costs need to be. I know what people we need to have in place to do the work. We understand how much it costs the company to operate on a monthly basis. We track all our numbers per division. We do all our weekly revenue reports. I get a report each week on what the company's doing in each division, so we can make quicker decisions on changes that we need to make. We develop new workflow procedures for myself and for our office team that can help and manage our day-to-day activities and tasks that need to get done, so it's manageable for them.
It has definitely improved. I mean, we still have stressful days and days where there's fires to be put out, and you walk in the office and think that it's going to be a normal Wednesday and equipment broke.
The results at first were hard to see because they were happening so drastically, and we were in such turmoil inside the company, especially with my brother and I, that the results have just now started to kind of I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. We started seeing the profit increase when we started tracking the revenue per week, when we reduced our labor cost from the high 40% from last year in the mid 40s down to low 30s to mid 30s. So we're able to see those results now pay off with our mowing crew being profitable.
In a year, we went from 44% to 34%. You know, it's like that's a massive decrease, 10% in your labor costs. You know, just by doing small things.
I was able to increase the profit of our irrigation department and our turf division by streamlining some systems and processes, and it's really helped our bottom line and increase our profit margin. The academy, going through the process, it humbled me pretty quickly, and once I learned and admitted that I didn't have all the answers, I was able to reach out for help.
Tom is definitely an owner that has taken the initiative. He wants his company to grow and to become profitable.
Everyone always asks me, how do you have any time to do anything from the fire department and managing 15 or 17 employees? Where do you find time to go to the lake or go on vacations? And it's about time management, and it's about putting people in a place, delegation of certain tasks that can get done. That's my whole goal, is to try to build a company that can operate without me here 7 days a week.
We're fortunate in that within this company, he wants us to grow and to become more efficient, and anything that we can do to better that and grow our clientele and work towards that common goal is exciting to be a part of.
The company's in great condition now, excellent. You know, we're moving shops to a nicer office, bigger office, and everything's going better.
feel like I have a real company now. I think I have a roadmap of what I need to do to be successful. The Academy shined a light, obviously, on a lot of problems we had in our company. I went back to what I know. I started thinking like a firefighter. I started kicking down the doors of the company. As I started to realize what situation we were in as a company, I asked myself, are we too late? I had known for several years that we needed systems and office processes to grow and operate the company, but what we didn't know is exactly what kind of systems and, more importantly, how to develop and implement them so they would become permanent. It wasn't until the Academy that I was able to find systems and processes to stick. We had reached out to Jonathan, the co-founder of Service Autopilot, and asked him for some advice, and he put us in contact with a consultant out of Kansas City. Hiring the business consultant was one of the best decisions we had made. The business consultant told us some very painful things that we didn't like to hear, but they were the truth. Our revenues for 2014 was right around 1.2 million. Once we shut down the landscape division, we lost about $550,000 in revenue. We added in 2015 $650,000 in new work through our marketing procedures. Our revenue for 2015 is projected to be 1.35 million. We not only replaced what we had lost in the landscape installation division shutting down, but we surpassed that. My time is definitely manageable now during the week. I have time to be able to coach football. I have time to take days off on the weekends. I not only feel like the Service Autopilot helped save my business, but more importantly to me, it helped save my marriage and my relationship with my brother. I first want to say to all the members that have either contacted me directly to offer their wisdom and advice and shared their documents with me, thank you very much. It couldn't have came at a better time for our company, and we didn't run away from the problems. I faced them head on, and I was able to fix them in a short amount of time thanks to the Service Autopilot Academy.